Hello, everyone. My name is Asim Chabra. I'm the festival director of the New York Indian Film Festival. Welcome. This is our 21st year, and the festival started on June 4th and is on until June 13th. And we have a range of films. We have 58 films, features, shorts. All films are available in the US, some in North America, and also in Canada and Mexico, and quite a few globally. All the shorts and at least about 10 features, including in India. The films can be all viewed and purchased very nominally priced tickets at knife.moviesaints.com, NYIFF moviesaints.com. The films are in 15 languages spoken in India, in south of India, in west, in north, and even in the east, in Assamese, Bengali, Manipuri. So I really hope that you guys watch as many films as you can. Today, we're going to have a fabulous, fascinating conversation. Two of my favorite filmmakers are here today. We're going to talk about Fire in the Mountains, which is our closing night film. So first of all, I'll invite our moderator for the session, Hansal Mehta.
Hi, Asim.
Hi, Hansal. Hansal's been a friend of Knife for many years. I think we've shown at least 4 of your films. We showed Shahid, we showed Aligarh, we showed Omerta, and I think City Lights also, right?
City Lights.
And I think you've been to the festival at least twice. You couldn't come when we showed Aligarh, I remember.
Yeah, I came thrice. I came for Omerta too.
Omerta, yeah, that's true. And so Hansal won the Best Director Award for Shahid in 2013. So welcome back to Knife, although it's virtual. And the second person that we're going to have today is the director of Fire in the Mountains, Ajit Pal Singh. Ajit, welcome. I just want to tell everybody that Ajit had a throat surgery a couple of months ago, so his voice is a little hoarse, but he's put a mic there, so he'll be able to talk loudly, and we'll be able to understand him, I'm sure. So Ajit, congratulations. I saw the film immediately after Sundance, and I interviewed you at that time. And it's a very, 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 very powerful story, and it's so beautifully shot also. The mountains, the scenes, and I'm sure all of that will come up in the conversation. So you guys have a good time. I'll go backstage now, and I'll be listening to the conversation. So thank you both. Go ahead.
Thank you.
Hi, Ajit.
Hello, Hansal. How are you?
Very good. I like your voice, actually. No, but talking about voice, I mean, what struck me so much about your spectacular film. I mean, what a spectacular debut, and what a poignant, what a beautiful film you have made. And what struck me most was the originality of your voice. It's a very, very original voice, and I did not realize when I was immersed, when I was sucked into your world. And I just want to know, how did this film come up? What is the provenance of this beautiful film?
So, there are 2 things. I'll go back to the subject of voice later on, but it came along because, my cousin sister, she died because her husband didn't take her to the hospital, thinking she's possessed by a ghost. And she was the first graduate from my father's side of the family, and she inspired many of us to pursue studies seriously, actually. So after that, we lost touch because she got married. I came to Bombay to make films, and we were not so much of in touch. And then one day I suddenly heard that she's no more, and because her husband didn't take her to the hospital. So I was like, how is that possible in 21st century India? And I knew my sister, and I knew that she would have not made that choice. She would have gone to the hospital. That much I knew about her. So these were like question after question, like how, why we don't allow women equal participation in making the big decision in the family. You know, okay, they may not be earning same amount of money as the man earns in all the houses, but that doesn't mean they are less, they contribute less in running the house, because I have run house alone and I know how much it takes to organize a simple kitchen. It's not an easy job, you know. So then there were many question after question, and uh, I didn't have answer. And then my Ramat Kamat short film was doing quite well when Ajay said, Ajay Raivu saw Ramat Kamat and said, let's do a feature film together. And he wanted to set it up in Uttarakhand. So I asked why, and we're like, look, I can make it cheap in Uttarakhand. So I went to Uttarakhand, did research, and then I started adapting it to Uttarakhand. Uh, and for the voice, I think what happened was, all of us, like all artists, whether we are filmmaker, writer, painter, we start somewhere, and where we start is probably very rough and raw space. We are not inspired by anyone. When we begin, we might be 10 years old, 15 years old, 16 years old, but then we are told to refine our craft, and we are given so many examples of artists before us, and we start getting influenced by those artists, which I think is not a bad thing. It's a natural process. So for me, it was also like that. Also influenced by many filmmakers. But when I was making my short films, I made 4 of them. 3 short films I made, which were kind of, mimicking some of the greatest filmmaker. Like I wanted to create that kind of cinema. I thought that is cinema. This is how cinema should be. I made 3 short films like that, and they were okay. They were not bad, but they were just okay. So when I made my 4th short film, I picked up a subject that I knew very well, that I had experience as a kid. So when we were shooting the film, suddenly I was not influenced by any filmmaker. I just knew that they are the emotion that I want to portray. And I was on the set and I was responding to elements around me, and I was finding things as I went along. And that was very liberating, really liberating experience. And the same happened for Fire in the Mountain then. You are on mute, I think. Answer. You're on mute.
Yeah, sorry. So, the originality was striking, and also, I found the film so organic. I almost felt like it was not written, that it was unfolding before me, and you were almost witnessing the story unfolding before you. Yet, its form was cinematic. There was a cinematic form that you used to tell the story. There was some striking cinematography, some striking images, but none of it overpowered the other. So I want to start by asking you about your writing. Your writing process. Was this a completely scripted film, or was it also improvised as you went along? How did you work with the material that you had? Did you have the story very, because it's not that plot based. I found the story almost organically germinating, one scene germinating from the other. So what was that writing process like? I mean, you told me what this story was inspired by, but how did you? What was your writing process like? I'm really curious.
Yeah, so it's all scripted actually. There
Mhm.
is there is probably one or two moments in the entire film that are not scripted, like that Dharam eating raw egg. That was not scripted, and Chandra making that buttermilk. That scene was not scripted. But
Okay.
apart from these two moments, everything was written. And as you said, I wrote it in a way that uh, it should feel like one scene going into another, into another, and keeping it character driven rather than plot driven. And uh, uh, like I had that end in my mind.
Hmm.
Then it was all about how to reach there. That it it feels natural but still surprising.
Right.
So that kept me helped me in writing a lot. Like because I knew where to reach.
Right.
Yeah, yeah,
So you had the end much before uh, you. The end helped you tell the story the way you did. I mean, there was a lot of economy in your storytelling, and what struck me. My wife watched the film with me, and my wife is a bit of an impatient film viewer. I mean, she's quite
yeah,
evolved, but a bit of an impatient film viewer. And I saw how she was completely stunned and engaged with the film until the very end, including the credits. She was completely sucked into your film, and that I appreciated that the most. I mean, that there was while it was very, very artistic and very beautiful, uh, your communication was uh, you know uh, did not have any pretense. It was not pretending to be what uh, something else. As you said, that it's so much you, and it's so honest, so genuine. I just hope you don't lose that in your journey as a filmmaker. I mean,
I also hope so. Yeah,
yeah,
I don't
it
want
is,
to
it
lose.
is. So I'm also curious about uh, how many days did you take to make this film?
We shot for 33 days and there
Okay.
was four breaks. I mean, so 29 days of shooting.
Okay.
Yeah,
And did you rehearse with the actors? Are these professional actors? I've never seen them before.
yeah. I mean, they are Sonal Jha, who plays Kamla. She
Right.
is the only well-known face.
Yeah.
She has come in some TV serials, and she also acted in Kanubel's Agra film. Uh, but
Right.
apart from her, everybody else, uh, Dharam is from NST, Chandan based,
Yeah.
but he's from Uttarakhand. Vinamrta has not acted much before. So yeah, none of them have much experience. And apart from these three, Vinamrta, Dharam, Chandan and Kamla, everybody else is from Uttarakhand. And
Right.
uh, we didn't do much of rehearsal uh, before the shooting, but we had a long reading session. But it was not a, a reading session where they were memorizing the dialogue. It was a reading session to find the subtext of the screenplay. You know, like when people talk, and that I was very well aware at the writing stage also that what characters are talking is not, in most of the cases, is not what they are trying to say. What they are trying to say is something else that their body is communicating.
Right.
So we needed to find that. So for that, all the actors and me, We asked a lot of questions, and I had taken their permission in the beginning to tell me if they felt comfortable, to tell me personal things like, any memory, any experience in their personal life that they had that is similar to the characters in the script. So some of the actors started sharing those experiences, and I shared mine. And so when we were shooting, during shooting, we used to do rehearsal before the camera rolled. And sometime I would just remember that, okay, she told me this, that something like this happened to her. I would just go and tell them in the ear. And after that, mostly I saw magic happening. It would just change, like just that helping them remind that you have had the similar experience. That's it. Then they took it to another level.
Right.
And another thing I did was I, most of the time, I never gave direction in the group. It was always individual, individual. And sometimes the directions were contradictory. Like actor A knew something else, B knew something else. They thought we are going to do this, B thought we are going to do that. And then it happened. And they were like puzzled. But
Mhm.
because they were puzzled, they were not watching themselves. They were engaged because everything was so fresh for them. And when we make things fresh for actor, then they are in movement.
Yeah, I mean that it's easier said than done. I mean, keeping having actors in the moment, and that's quite an achievement. And I must compliment you on the casting. Who did you cast the film yourself?
No, Taran Bajaj,
Okay.
uh, he is a associate of Hani Rehan for many years, and I
Right.
think this was his second or third independent film, and he went to Uttarakhand for 2 months
Hmm.
for casting actually.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
And where did you find Vinamrata? I mean, I thought she was the find of the year. I mean, she is her performance has stayed with me. It just doesn't. It refuses to leave me because there was so much dignity. Uh, there was so much of strength and this amazing amount of understanding of the situation that she was in, which she sort of conveyed through her very very economic characterize her interpretation of the character. I found that striking, really striking. It's rare to see such a performance. It's so mature. So where did you find her?
Yeah,
And how did you decide to cast her?
yeah. So me and Vinamrata, we worked together in 2015 on a short film, you know. And when I was working with her, at that time, even I was learning as a director about how to work with actors. And at that time, I had thought of started to work on these ideas which were in full swing when I was working on Fire in the Mountain. And one of the idea was to actually uh, tell the actor a lot about myself, and also tell her a lot of things which I'm not proud of at all, you know, and then request the actor to share if they are comfortable, and
Mhm.
then see if we can use this information. And she opened up and during the short film, and then I saw that uh, her greatest strength was this ability to really do a restrained performance. Like give her a, you can give her a very dramatic situation, very dramatic character, and she will still play it with restraint. and she internalizes things, and she asks a lot of questions. So for Fire in the Mountain, she had prepared so much that when we were doing the reading with other actor, sometimes she would just get so angry on other characters.
Acha.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, she is phenomenal. Yeah. And
And Chandan Bisht. Chandan Bisht. See, I've seen him in auditions. In the past, and again, what a seamless performance and a difficult character to play. He's not somebody that you like, dislike. It's a very difficult, mm, character to interpret and to play without. He's actually not judging himself. He is uh, so symbolic of us as men. He's almost holding a mirror to all of us as men, and our collective lack of understanding of the female species. And he's done it without actually judging himself, which I found very often as an actor. I see a character, actors judging their own characters and then
true.
coloring their performance. So this is such an uncolored performance.
Yeah, and actually, I think playing Dharam was the most difficult character to play in the film, actually,
True.
because uh, because it's difficult to love him, and of course there was this great possibility to fall in the trap and judge him. So that was me and Chandan worked very hard that, and how uh, we were able to pull it off was by finding super objective for his character. Like everything that he's doing because uh, he is not the man of the house anymore.
Hmm.
And he just want to be man of the house again. So when he had this super objective, it was not about wrong or right mean. It was all about finding his self-respect all over again. And that helped him play this character without judging actually.
Mhm. So, how? I noticed that your cinematographer is, somebody who has
Nick Call.
worked internationally, Dominic Collin.
Yeah,
Tell me about that collaboration. How did that come about? And the collaboration has worked obviously really well. He has captured Uttarakhand without getting carried away by its natural beauty, and yet, making it into a distinct character.
yeah. So, uh, I mean, of course, uh, he's a very well established cinematographer, and I knew him because he's married to uh, a very good friend of mine, Parul Son, who is also a very good production designer, you know. And but uh, like I never thought of approaching him to a very uh, and big thing. But Parul, she read the screen and she was like, Dominic might just want to do it. Why don't you take it up at least? So I sent him the screenplay. He read the screenplay, and we had our first call. And his first question was that, how do you see the film? And I was like, I see the film as I want audience to experience the film as if they are sitting next to Chandra. And you were like, this is exactly how I felt. And uh, and then we just started talking about how to shoot it and the handle thing. Okay, Handel thing came up with those ideas then, and yes, and then I remember about what you said, that it's never like, we didn't treat uh, we didn't treat Himalaya as ornamental,
Correct.
And I remember there were certain young DOP who were assisting, and one of them made a passing comment one day to production designer that, are we making a feature film or are we shooting a documentary film? And and, and I knew that what me and Dominic knew that what we are shooting is a feature film which will make you feel as if we are watching a documentary film. But it's not a documentary film. It was a bit balanced to pull off, but head off to him that he did. And we only had two portable generators, that's it. So
you had only two portable generators.
That's it. Yeah.
So minimal, very, very minimalistic. I mean,
Yeah.
the beauty is it doesn't show. It does not show, the minimalism. And I mean, some of the night sequences are very exquisitely shot.
I mean, there were a lot of DIY stuff, like Dominic had made his own moonlight with. So he was carrying around 20 this size balloon with a aluminum coating on the out, and we had a helium cylinder and fish rod with that fish wire, that wire for the fishing. So these balloons were tied with fish rod, and he could manage with a fish rod where to keep them in the sky. So he really had a lot of innovative techniques to not to make it look like a poor film.
Right. Yeah, it doesn't. I mean, that nowhere can anyone say that this is a poor film. I mean, it's very, very carefully shot. I would say, it's beautifully shot. It's carefully shot, and you know, I've never seen Uttarakhand used so beautifully. The mountains, they can be, they're very easy to have them in your face because they're so beautiful, they're so stunning. And and to have an international DOP for whom it's even more romantic to see that kind of beauty. And he is not romanticized. His lens is never that romantic lens. It is empathetic. I mean, it's your eyes are following the characters rather than the beauty behind. There is so much of beauty, but you're still so focused on the characters. So yes, I mean, it's quite an achievement, Ajit. The kind of partnership that you and Dominic have achieved through the film. I had questions about the child. So initially, I mean, I'm telling you the way I felt. Initially, I said, this child is really taking the parents for a ride, and slowly, I mean, there's an ambiguity. I mean, his own, so besides the whole feminist tale that you have woven the film around, the child's own sexuality, child's own exploration of his own of himself is, so it's a tale of sexuality. I mean, even Kamla's own repression as a widow, Mm, uh, let talk a little bit about both Kamla and the boy. I mean, what was his name in the film?
Prakash.
Prakash. Prakash is, uh, you know, that I found the him being on the wheelchair such a great metaphor for the way we treat boys and men who don't necessarily conform to our ideas of masculinity. Mm, I mean, that being confined to a wheelchair was such a strong symbol, such a strong image. Mm, talk to me about that.
So writing Prakash was the most difficult in the film. Like, for because initially in the beginning, the entire film was from his point of view,
Right.
from Prakash's point of view. There was a lot more of Prakash in the film,
Hmm.
you know. But as I started developing the screenplay, I think around 6 months down the writing process, I realized that uh, this story is asking me to be written from Chandra's point of view. Like after like yourself, is such a good writer, and you know that after a point, your film, the story starts telling you what it is asking. So it started like I know you need to write it from Chandra's point of view, not from Prakash's point of view. And then it became so difficult for me to write Prakash because I because we are experiencing the story from Chandra's point of view. So of course I could show a bit more than what Chandra knows, but not a lot more than what Chandra knows. So to find that fine balance, where audience know just a little more than Chandra, and they can just get a little idea of what the boy might be going through, but not the full idea. Because if they have the full idea, then they will not experience story how Chandra is experiencing it. So it was a very difficult choice. I was
Mhm.
always scared. Will it be communicated to everyone or not? And till the till the last, I never knew whether it's communicated or not. So uh, when you ask this question and some other people ask this question about sexuality and everything, it makes me so happy because there are small, very small details which tell you, okay, in ambiguous way, this is what the boy might be dealing with.
Hmm.
Yeah. And same with Kamla. With Kamla also, uh, we were not supposed to know a lot more than Chandra knows. So how do I do it? Again, the same challenge, you know. So all I did was, for Kamla at least, I had a objective that, which was that uh, all she wants is a family. And when she realizes that this cannot be her family, she leaves to be a woman on her own.
Hmm.
I think Ajit has lost his connection. He's in a small part of Punjab, really.
Right.
Uh, I think you guys were able to cover quite a lot, Hansal.
Yeah.
And I'm actually, I saw the film back in end of January, February. I'm now very tempted to, hearing this conversation, to see it again. I had interviewed him then, but so many other things happened. So, so thank you very much, Hansal. I'm so glad you liked the film. I mean, I remember you when you were watching it earlier.
No, I I don't want to name the film or the festival, but I had such a tough time. I volunteered to do Q&As, and then I saw the film a day before the Q&A, and I said, "How do I get out of this?" Because I just don't feel anything for the film.
But in this case, you saw it twice, and
I saw it twice. I mean, this film was, Azim, this film was really special because it's not pretending to be this great cinema. You know, and that is something that struck me the most. You know, it's very simple. Simple, yet it is saying so much. There's so much subtext. I mean, that whole thing of sexuality, which I was talking about, you know, that boys, the boys' sexuality, that for me was so powerful. You know, you almost first you feel that, you know, this boy is manipulating his parents. As a father, you understand that, you know, this kid is taking you for a fucking ride. and then slowly you realize what the kid is going through. You know,
right.
Built it in so seamlessly. So these small things add so much. It's very accomplished work.
No, it's very fantastic. You should watch his 2 films also, Ramat Gamat, and then he made another short film. So,
Molly was my publicist many years ago.
Acha.
We worked together for a year and a half.
Yeah. But what I find fascinating, the part of the conversation you had about, you know, making Uttarakhand look so beautiful. I mean, you cannot help it. The mountains were right there. In fact, he had told me that earlier they had decided to shoot somewhere much further down, and then they finally found this village. And it so happened that the view of the mountains are there. It's right there. So you cannot deny it. I think Ajit is joining us again. Ajit, we were just sort of concluding. Is there any final thought?
He's again stuck.
He's again stuck, I think. Yeah. Chalo, this is the problem with technology in the pandemic times. But
I mean, the other thing that really struck me was that their guest house was called Switzerland. If you know, again, that entire dichotomy, you know, that, you know, you're living in this paradise, you call it Switzerland, and you see the human condition is completely counter.
Right. But, you know, this was Switzerland was the original title of the film when it won the script award or something at the Film Bazaar about 2 years ago. At that time, it was called Switzerland. Yeah.
And I found Switzerland to be a very, very beautiful touch. You know, that the holiday home, the homestay is called Switzerland, and, you know, Switzerland is so metaphorical again. It's that counterpoint that it gives. You know, you call it Switzerland, and, you know, you see what is going on there. कि वो मतलब बकरा वो मुर्गी जो है वो काट देते हैं वो लोग उसकी.
It was intentional, actually. Yeah.
Ajit, why did you change the title of the film? What led you from Switzerland to Fire in the Mountains?
I mean, what happened was, when I started speaking to international friends and audience, and I realized that they don't have the context to understand word Switzerland the way Indian get it because of Bollywood, you know. So for someone from New Zealand, Switzerland is Switzerland. But for somebody from India, Switzerland is a place of aspiration, of a life that we want to live, because Bollywood has been telling us this is a life in heaven, you know. But for international audience, that context is not there. So that's when we changed it. Yeah.
That's interesting.
So what is the journey now? Is it going to be streaming? What's next for the film?
So right now we are just going through the film festival rounds.
Right.
And like producer Ajay and Ellen, they were clear that we don't want to go to OTT immediately. Okay. Let it travel through the film festival for at least 6 to 8 months, and then we will.
But you've done that, haven't you? How many months now? 4 to 5 months you've been traveling?
4 months, yeah.
Yeah,
4 months.
because usually New York and Indian Film Festival is sort of the end of the journey. Usually, it's the last frontier.
we do world premieres also. ऐसी बात नहीं है.
नहीं, लेकिन वो मतलब वो हमारा मतलब कई बार
टाइमिंग का होता ना. हाँ.
जैसे हम लोग usually ना, lot of us start from say Cannes or Toronto, and then end up at New York Film Festival, and then May June में मतलब the film gets released to no audience.
Yeah.
That's true. I remember with Shahid, you started off in Toronto, and that was in September, and then in April, May, you came to New York. Yeah. Well, I'm really thrilled that we were able to show this film, Ajit, and I'm so glad that you and Molly and your sales agent and everybody agreed to it. It's a wonderful film, and we still have many days to go for the festival, so people should definitely watch it. We gave it, all the films are available from June 4th to June 13th, but we decided to call Fire in the Mountains the closing night film. I mean, we wanted to give that honor as we did to Where's Pinky as the opening night film. I would have made your film the opening night film, but another festival made it, so I don't want to be a copycat. but
is it available to view in India?
No, it's only in the US. No, that was a restriction sales agent.
That's a pity. That's a pity.
Yeah.
Sales agent, actually.
They haven't shown. It has not been shown in India so far, right? So,
I mean,
who is your sales agent?
So we have festival agent Pascal, and
Pascal,
yeah, and world sales agent. The negotiation is still not complete.
Chalo. Anyway, good luck to the film, Ajit. Thank you very, very much. And Ansalji, thank you. I know it was a bit tough for you, but I'm so glad we were able to do this, and people will be able to watch this. And
it's a very special film. It's a special film. This will live on way beyond this festival. And congratulations, Ajit.
Yeah,
really, many congratulations.
Yeah,
thank you, Asim.
Thank you, Ajit. Congratulations again. And people should go to knife.moviesaints.com. It's right there in the US to watch Fire in the Mountains, and there are many other films that people can watch. So thank you all.
Thank you.